Okay. Welcome to True Blue Politics Daily, and today is Cinco de Mayo. And guess what else
Woohoo!
it is, Karen?
Uh, your birthday?
No,
Oh,
no, don't say that.
oh,
It's 6 months till election day, midterm election day.
it is. Oh my
It is.
gosh.
I
Thank
know.
you. So
You're
what should
welcome.
people be doing?
People should be help writing postcards. They should be knocking on doors, or they should be volunteering, maybe sending money. They should be doing everything they can to make sure
To
Democrats
Democratic
win.
candidates. Yep.
Yes,
Talking to their friends and family, making sure that
everything.
they have a plan to vote, right?
That's right. Oh, check, yes, check, start checking your voter registration.
Mm-hmm.
Make a plan to vote early if you can. Hopefully, I
Mm-hmm.
think everybody can. New York, I don't think they let you vote early. Is that true? I think New York only has can only vote on election day, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure. Don't
Mm-hmm.
take, don't quote me on that. But I think
Just look up your stuff
you look up your
wherever
stuff,
you
but vote
are.
early if you can, because especially if you're in a
Absolutely.
red state, because there's going to be some fuckery.
And
Okay, we can
especially,
guarantee you that
yes, especially if you are a black or brown person, please,
for sure. Yeah, but
please make sure.
anybody, we should
Anybody.
all be voting
We all
early.
should. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
there's so many advantages to that. They cannot possibly, send out their ICE agents and to on, polling places for because not only that, but
Consecutive weeks, right.
yeah, and also because when you do early voting, you can
Hmm.
vote. You don't vote in your the regular polling place that you vote on election day. They
Right.
have. I know here they have like, everybody can go to a mall or something or someplace. They can go wherever and just show their ID and then
Right.
vote there.
Yeah, just check. Yeah, check where the early voting locations are near you
Exactly.
and get out and do it. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of clips today. So we're gonna
Hmm.
try and keep it tight. So I found this early this morning and it's, Stephanie actually played it as well on her show, and it just was so brilliant. This is our friend Adam Mockler, who has been making just done a great job going on CNN and panel discussions and just pantsing these MAGA morons. So I just want to play this because I thought it was so brilliant. Okay, bear with me one second. I'm gonna get this.
Yeah. Entire life, the United States has been at war with some country in the Middle East, and young people have constantly been told that this will make us safer and make us better off. When we look around at the world today, we are less safe and we are worse off. Millennials grew up watching all these headlines saying that Iraq had been, defeated, that we had taken out Saddam Hussein and we had killed all the bad guys. Well, that turned into a grinding counterinsurgency that cost us $1 trillion, and it was a catastrophe. The same thing happened with Afghanistan. And now Gen Zers are going to the same thing with Iran. We are watching the same people who defended these first two failed wars go on television and defend another failed war. This war is failing. We have not gotten any political concessions. And I'm sorry, I'm not buying this trust the process line. I don't trust the same people who got us into the prior wars, amassed trillions of dollars in debts, and are not putting America first on the global stage. I think that's
Okay.
Hmm.
I don't know what America not putting America first means, but
Well,
okay.
I think you know what though. This is what I appreciate, but I mean, I know what he's doing there, right? Um, this is where he's using their phrasing. And
Yeah. No, I know that.
I don't think he's doing it
No,
in a
I get
way
that.
that's detrimental. So I appreciate that.
Mm,
I appreciate that because what it is, a lot of people in MAGA, a lot of these people that are independent voters did not want a forever war. That's what they say, and that's, whatever. So if we're taking them at their word, what he's doing is he's using their verbiage, and I think it's really smart.
yeah, except they don't really mean it.
I
America
understand that,
first isn't.
Anita.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand, but let's not split hairs,
Okay,
okay?
we're not going to go into that.
No.
But yeah, no, actually he was right about everything. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
spent all that we two wars, how many years? Like 20 years.
20 years.
It's
Hmm.
crazy. And all
Trillions
that
of
more
dollars, lives
than a trillion. He
lost.
said a trillion, but we spent way more than that.
He said trillions.
Yeah, we said
Hmm.
trillions.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. All the lives that were lost, all the
Yep.
I mean, just I mean, I don't know whether you can call those definitely not a win.
No.
So, yeah, and a lot of people are still. um, the country is still reeling from that, really, because the
Mhm.
fact is the government lost a lot of trust because of what happened there.
That's right. That's right. I
You
mean, and
know,
we're old enough to remember to have lived right through it and listened to all the lies, even though we heard, the reports from UN weapons inspectors that had been there for 10 years since his daddy's, Gulf War, and not finding any weapons of mass destruction. There was nothing.
well, they were destroyed. They were
Yeah,
destroyed back in the 90s, and they
right.
knew it, and
Yep.
they just didn't want to listen to it because
Yep.
the people that were there was Hans Blick, they were there, that was there. There
Mm-hmm.
were other weapons inspectors, and the most infuriating thing was that
Mm-hmm.
the way the mainstream media went along with this, and back
Yep.
then the mainstream media was a lot more powerful because there wasn't any independent media. There was nowhere else to look. And I can remember searching desperately because I was just very suspicious, okay? Because George
Mm-hmm.
W. Bush had been our governor, okay? So I did
Mm-hmm.
not trust him. And when they were saying these things and about the weapons of mass destruction, I was very, suspicious. And I remember desperately looking for somewhere where I could find out if this was true or not. And there was only one little segment on CNN where they showed this weapons inspector, Hans Blick from
Mm-hmm.
Germany, who was
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, 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 hold your horses.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, we haven't found anything yet.
Yep.
And there's nothing there so far. And we need to continue. We don't need to be rushing into a war. We need to
Hmm.
continue this. And they threw out the weapons inspectors. They threw them out
They
instead of,
sure did.
yeah, that's
Wow.
what they did.
Wow.
So, I mean, anyway,
How
so that's all
dare
I could
you for
find.
remembering that?
I
How
do. I
dare
remember
you?
that. I know. No
Hmm.
fair remembering.
No fair remembering. Hey,
So,
Blue
anyway,
Gal. Hey, Drift Glass.
yeah.
Yeah,
hat hat tip to Blue Gallon Drip Glass. Yes.
absolutely. So we're gonna take our listeners, back in the way back machine.
Yes, let's do that because it's
Let's
important that we remember this because guess what? We're seeing the same thing. And we want to show you how it is the same thing. We keep doing these things and we
Yep.
have to put an end to it. We have to understand that this is what they're doing again.
Right. If Adam Mockler is any, indication, young people are seeing
They're
those
not having it.
correlations and they're not having it. So, okay, I'm going
Mm-mm.
to go ahead and tell me if you recognize this voice.
Mm.
Saddam Hussein and his sons
Turn it up.
Iraq within
Okay,
48
hold on.
hours.
Let me turn it up. Where's the volume? Oh, it's way up there, girlfriend. I don't know.
I can barely hear it.
I don't know why.
Their refusal to do so will result in military conflict, commenced at a time of our choosing. We will tear down the apparatus of terror, and we will help you to build a new Iraq that is prosperous and free. Intelligence gathered by this and other governments leaves no doubt that the Iraqi regime continues to possess and conceal some of the most lethal weapons ever devised. This regime has
Okay.
already used weapons of mass destruction against Iraq's neighbors and against Iraq's people. Recognizing the threat to our country, the United States Congress voted overwhelmingly last year to support the use of force against Iraq. The security of the world requires disarming Saddam Hussein now.
Okay, so I
Okay, wait a
think
minute. First of all, no, he said other countries have said they're amassing weapons of mass destruction. He's talking about one country, I think, and he would that country they were lying. They were using the same bogus intelligence.
okay.
The British Prime Minister, what was his name at that time? Oh my God, now he's
Was it
helping.
Blair?
Yeah, Tony Blair,
Mm-hmm.
and Tony Blair is now on some. I think he was on that.
So Anita, let me just say this really quick before we keep. Let's pause it because for some reason after Adam Mockler, it kicked me out of the share. So I'm going to play this again. This is George W. Bush. Okay, hold on.
Okay,
Okay, bear with me.
what do you mean it kicked you out of the
It
share?
kicked me out of the share. For some reason, Blue Sky kicked me out
Mm,
of the Zoom. Okay, I'll explain it later. Okay, what the heck is going on?
I don't know anything about Blue Sky. They're so
Yeah.
complicated.
Well, it's more right now. What it is we're having a glitch here. Hold on one second. For some reason, it's not playing on my computer.
So do we have to retape that whole thing?
No, we don't
Okay.
have to do anything. We're just so anyway. Go ahead and talk about the web you were saying. I'll try and
Well,
figure
he's
this out.
lying. They're talking about it. Paul Wolfowitz lied about this too and said the French and I think the Germans or somebody that also said they had weapons of mass destruction. That's just not true.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were just blatantly lying. Now we're seeing this again, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but this is a pattern with these Republican administrations. And
Yeah.
people need to see this for what it is. These people were blatantly lying to the American people.
Mm-hmm.
What he's saying, we're going to, and the same kind of crap about how we're going to free the Iraqi people and they're going to be so much better if we can bring the democracy. This is just, they didn't understand the region. They had no intellectual curiosity to learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they went in there with this mentality, this, I don't know, Western mentality that they were going to go in there and just free them. Like, remember, they thought we were going to be greeted like, they greeted
Heroes,
us
like
like
liberators.
heroes, like liberators, like Paris or something,
Right.
after World War II, and it's just such hubris.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly the word. I'm going to try one more time, and if we can't, then we're going to move on, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Saddam Hussein and his sons
That's better.
must leave Iraq within 48 hours. Their refusal to do so will result in military conflict, commenced at a time of our choosing. We will tear down the apparatus of terror, and we will help you to build a new Iraq that is prosperous and free. Intelligence gathered by this and other governments leaves no doubt that the Iraqi regime continues to possess and conceal some of the most lethal weapons ever devised. This regime has already used weapons of mass destruction against Iraq's neighbors and against Iraq's people. Recognizing the threat to our country, the United States Congress voted overwhelmingly last year to support the use of force against Iraq. The security of the world requires disarming Saddam Hussein now. And when the dictator has departed, they can set an example to all the Middle East of a vital and peaceful and self-governing nation.
Okay, Jesus. I mean, hearing that again, and when he talks about how they will be looked upon as some sort of beacon of democracy.
Oh my God. Again, hubris.
The hubris.
Oh my goodness.
It just the lies about other governments. I mean, he's talking about Tony Blair. They were kind of colluding about this.
Right.
And so and he's working with Trump. I can't remember on what.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean that's Tony Blair for you.
There you go. But and then of course there's another commonality between Iraq and what we're seeing now, and that is Benjamin Netanyahu. And he was actively encouraging it. And so I'm going to play that clip for us.
And lying, because he always lies, just like Donald Trump.
Of course. Okay.
If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. And I think that people sitting right next door in Iran, young people, and many others will say, the time of such regimes, of such despots, is gone. There is a new age. Something new is happening.
And that is speculation on your part, or you have some evidence to that effect?
I was asked the same question in 1986. I had written a book in which I had said the way to deal with terrorist regimes, with terror, was to deal with the terrorist regimes. And the way to deal with the terrorist regimes, among other things, was to apply military force against them.
The way we did in Afghanistan.
The way, for example, I want to answer your question.
Well, I guess I'm running out of time, so I quickly was trying to get to. We've done, I think, what you proposed in Afghanistan, yet I haven't seen that sort of neighborhood effect.
Well, I think there's been an enormous effect.
He was encouraging. There's some other clips of him talking to Congress about the benefits of invading Iraq and that it'll stabilize the Middle East, which it did the opposite of course. And then he's talking about Afghanistan as if it was such a success.
Mm-hmm. And it was
Okay.
a full court press. I
It really was.
remember. I mean, they brought out somebody who was a hero of the first Gulf War, Colin Powell, who very
Yeah.
well respected. He was a conservative, but he was beloved and trusted by the majority of Americans, and they
Mhm.
used him to sell the American public this war as well.
Yeah, they definitely. Well, they sent him to the UN to sell it to the
Yes.
world,
Mm-hmm.
and the world trusted Colin Powell. He went up
Yep.
there and they gave him false information,
Yep.
and he just lied. I mean, he was lying. He didn't know he was lying at that time, but
Mm-hmm.
he regretted it ever since.
Right.
So anyway, and he was been vehemently against Donald Trump. I just want to add Colin Powell
Yes.
later on,
For
and he
sure.
was a conservative.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was a good man.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so again, we know the players, George W. Bush, Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, the devil.
Oh, Wolfowitz,
Yeah,
Condoleezza
Wolfowitz,
Rice.
Condoleezza Rice. And so, we have a clip here. It's about 2.5 minutes. So we'll start playing it. If you want me to stop it and need it, I will. At any point.
What is it, Condoleezza Rice?
It is Condoleezza. These are archives, everybody. And you can
Mm-hmm.
go on and everybody can search this stuff. Condoleezza Rice, not an option to put off the war in Iraq.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
If we do go to war, what happens inside Iraq? The Shiites, the Sunnis, the Kurds, how do they possibly stay together? What happens to Israel if they're attacked? Do they get in? What happens in the Arab Street? How long will we be there? How much will it cost? Will the president address all those issues?
The president has been addressing these issues. The United States has made clear that it expects the territorial integrity of Iraq to be maintained and that it will work to guarantee that. That's important to Iraq's neighbors. It's important to peace and stability in the region. The United States will also be committed to making certain that the Iraqi people are taken care of, that humanitarian assistance and the like is provided to them should come.
Hold on.
What's happening?
Hold on.
The Iraqi people, having been
back it
liberated
up.
in violence, is kept under control. That in fact, the Iraqi people, having been liberated from Saddam Hussein, have a chance to build a better future. No one is saying that this is an easy task. If we have to disarm Saddam Hussein by force, it will be difficult. But you cannot, knowing that it would be difficult, simply push it down the line and down the line and down the line, sort of kicking the can down the road and hoping for the best down the road with Saddam Hussein. The greater danger is that Saddam Hussein, left to his own devices, will perfect his means of delivery of weapons.
Okay, can I just say something?
No. I just want to. Okay.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
just say something?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the same narrative that they're trying to push right now.
Exactly. The way she's saying it, we can't just keep kicking this down the road. We've been at war with Iran for 47 years.
Yep.
Now we finally have a president that has the courage to take on, Iran and the Ayatollahs. I mean, it's just all the same script.
Yep. Same. I mean, it's same. Okay, so I'm going to keep playing.
Of mass destruction with longer range missiles than he is allowed, with unmanned aerial vehicles that can deliver biological weapons, and that some president, if not this president, will face a Saddam Hussein who again carries out his murderous ambitions in the region, or who through his ties to Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups simply gives a vial of anthrax to a terrorist to let them do the dirty work. This is a possibility that
Gary.
That is crap. Al-Qaeda,
Right.
Saddam Hussein threw Al-Qaeda out. Okay.
Right.
Al-Qaeda was Sunni.
Yes.
Well, he was Sunni also.
He was Sunni too.
But
Yep.
they were radicals.
Listen,
They
I know
were
people
more
that
secular.
lived. Yeah, let me just say, I know people that lived in Iraq, okay? You couldn't go to I've mentioned this on our podcast a long time ago. You could not go to a coffee house and gather with a group of men without being surveilled. I know people that had family members disappeared. Saddam Hussein was not going to let a terror cell like Al
Al-Qaeda.
Qaeda stay in his
It
country.
was a threat to him.
Yes.
He was a secularist mostly. I mean, he was. And Al-Qaeda was they were religious extremists.
Yep.
So no,
Exactly.
this is all a bunch of bull. They didn't understand the region, or they were just flat out lying.
Yeah, of course. I think they were just flat out lying.
Flat out
I think it's a combo, honestly. But
Yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna let this play out and then we will move on.
No American president, no leader in the free world should be prepared to contemplate. And so, yes, it's hard, but putting this off is not an option.
Her voice, I don't know why, but it drives me crazy.
Well, she's such a calm,
I know. She's got that sweet little voice, but she's just lying her ass off.
So calm.
If I just talk like this and I lie my ass off, will you believe me?
Will you believe me? You just have to believe me.
It's just horrible. She still, to this day, will defend that.
Yep.
Yep.
And so there was an article that she sent. This is Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. And the headline is 20 years ago in Iraq, ignoring the expert weapons inspectors proved to be a fatal mistake.
Yeah, and they did that.
Yes, they did.
They threw them out, the weapons inspectors. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I was going to try. Oh, shoot. I think
you were going to read some of that.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. Keep
Rutabaga,
talking.
Rutabaga.
Yeah, I wanted to read off the thing, but go ahead. Keep talking.
Rutabaga. I can only say
no. Just say something smart.
Oh, what I was going to say. Just the whole thing. I mean, the weapons of mass destruction, they didn't exist. They were talking. And do you remember she said there would be a mushroom cloud?
Right.
Yeah. And the missiles thing where she just talked about how they had these missiles. These are the same things they're talking about as it pertaining to Iran. I mean, it's the same script.
Exactly. So this is the part that I was going to read from this article. A major turning point in the U.S. approach to Iraq was the September 11, 2001 terrorist attack on New York and Washington, D.C. Al-Qaeda, operating from Afghanistan, was identified as the source of the attacks, and the invasion of Afghanistan launched weeks later. The administration of new U.S. President George W. Bush then tried, with very little credible evidence, to link Iraq to the attacks. After intense campaigning led by the U.S., the UN Security Council adopted Resolution 1441, ordering Iraq to immediately allow UNMOVIC and IAEA weapons inspectors back into the country in November of 2002. Aware that the war drums were beating, Iraq complied. However, the Bush administration included many senior policymakers who had no use for the United Nations and made their distaste clear. As the months went by, we watched them repeat stories about Iraqi WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, and covert WMD, weapons of mass destruction programs that we knew to be false and that we had even specifically debunked in order to build public and diplomatic support for an invasion.
Yeah, you know what else he did? He would make these speeches where he would talk about 9/11. And remember what that was like right after 9/11, and the country was reeling, okay? And I remember right when 9/11 happened thinking, being so angry, like, well, who do we declare war on? I mean, that's awful,
right.
But of course it was a terrorist organization.
Right.
You can't just declare war on a country.
Yeah.
They should have just gone after, instead he just let Saddam Hussein go free and then attacked two countries that didn't have anything to do with it. Well, Afghanistan, especially Iraq. But anyway, so what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought, but go ahead.
Okay. So now we're fast forwarding to what's the war in Iran. And we have the Secretary of Defense, or as war they like to call it, Pete Hegseth, or Keg's Breath, as we like to call him. War in Iran is not Iraq, says Pete Hegseth.
They're it's not Iraq.
So don't look. Don't look over there.
Don't ever say.
Don't ever compare
like Iraq.
Don't ever compare it. So I'm going to try this. I reshared it. Hopefully I can bring this larger screen up here and it'll play. Hold on one second.
This is not endless.
Nope, it's not doing it. Sorry. Something happens when I expand it. Never
Mm.
mind. Okay.
I was there for both. Has all the latitude in the world to talk about how long it may or may not take. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. It could move up, it could move back. We're going to execute at his command the objectives we've set out to achieve. And what he has shown an ability to do that other presidents can't quite seem to have the aperture to do. Well, I mean, Joe Biden didn't even know what he was doing, is to look for opportunities and off-ramps and escalations for the United States that creates new opportunities to execute what we need on our own timeline. It's one of those fallacies for a long time that this department or presidents or others should tell the American people this, and our enemies, by the way, here's exactly what we'll do. Here's exactly how long we'll go. Here's exactly how far we'll go. Here's what we're willing to do and not do. It's foolishness.
Okay.
Hold on.
And so President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go to advance American interests. But we're not dumb about it. You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay for.
Okay.
Okay.
When first of all, he starts off by saying Iraq is not Iran. I don't know if the people could hear that. But also, have you noticed, and they all do this, I just heard Bassett do this, the Treasury Secretary, they have to denigrate past Democratic presidents or anybody. He did this, he said Pete Buttigieg was the worst transportation secretary ever. Joe Biden, did you see how he denigrated him? I mean, these are weak people. These are insecure, weak people.
Look, if you can stand on stand on principle and make your argument, okay, then make your argument. But it's a tell when they feel or they know that they have to go and bash
and denigrate everybody else.
That is
That's
not
right.
that is not a strong position. That is not building trust and selling your case to the American public, which, by the way, that's our money.
And look at how it looks when you're talking. I mean, around the world, you're denigrating your predecessor like that.
Where's the respect for the presidency, the office?
Well, they don't have any respect for it.
Of course not.
And it's like they have to denigrate them to make themselves feel. Look,
that's
like
it.
We're so great. See, we were terrible.
That is weak. That is weak. You are showing how weak you are.
Yeah,
and feckless you are. Like that is a tell. Exactly. So now we're going to do a little compare and contrast, Anita.
Okay.
So this is Donald Rumsfeld in 2002 on Iraq. And then we have Hegseth in 2026 on Iran.
I can't tell you if the use of force in Iraq today would last 5 days or 5 weeks or 5 months, but it certainly isn't going to last any longer than that.
You can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 3.
I can't tell you if the use of force in Iraq today would last 5 days.
Yeah, it's only a second.
It. Sorry. Okay.
But the point is that they told us this before. Remember, mission accomplished after
it's
like
the same
3
thing.
months. It's the same
It's
crap.
the same thing. When you listen to Condoleezza Rice and what they're saying now, when you listen to Rumsfeld then and Hegseth now, they're literally, they don't even have the wherewithal or originality
come up with anything original
to come up with, like, seriously?
And they're even more ridiculous.
Sell us the same crap. They're ridiculous. And they look ridiculous because they are ridiculous.
Well, it's like, George W. Bush did the, famous thing on the aircraft carrier with a mission accomplished right after like 3 months. Donald Trump tells us we've won, like, I don't know, every day.
Right.
He says they have nothing. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished every day.
They don't have a Navy. We bomb Navy boats.
And then the Navy bombs us. Their Navy.
Their non-existent Navy bombs us.
And the Strait of Hormuz is still closed.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Oh my God, they're so
But we're winning.
But we're winning, everybody. Okay, so now we have a little clip of your favorite person, Marco Rubio.
Oh God.
Okay.
Little Marco.
Little Marco.
Iran poses a very grave threat to the United States and has for a very long time. They are in possession First and foremost, after their nuclear program was obliterated, they were told not to try to restart it, and here they are. You can see them always trying to rebuild elements of it. They're not enriching right now, but they're trying to get to the point where they ultimately can. The other thing I would point you to, however,
wait, stop. They're not enriching right now, but they're trying to get to the point where they can.
They're thinking about it. See, we know that they're thinking about it. So we have to send, we have to send our children, our grandchildren to go and fight.
Well, we have to bomb them right now.
We have to bomb them right now.
We're going to bomb those thoughts out of their head.
Yes, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. This is so ridiculous. So ridiculous. And it's like the reason why I wanted to play that was because juxtaposed that with Condoleezza Rice, who was saying the same crap.
Same crap. Well, they're thinking about it. They could down the road. If we can't kick the can down the road,
you can't do that.
We got to do it now. We got to, get it done right now. Because there are not, because look, there are no pressing issues in the United States of America. There's no food shortages. There's no price increases in groceries because of the tariffs. There's no,
short-term gain for long-term.
That's right. I mean, no healthcare crisis because of our reckless policies. There's none of that. And oh, by the way, our farmers are getting fucked.
Oh, they're getting so screwed. I mean, 75% of them voted for Trump, so it's hard to feel sorry for them.
Well, but this is the thing. It has an effect on all of us.
It has an effect on all of us. And the gas prices, and the fertilizer, honestly, the fact that there's this fertilizer shortage right now, this could cause famine all over the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it will hit us. It will hit us. I mean, it's already hitting other places globally, but it's going to hit us.
Well, it's starting to hit even more. I know you've seen the gas prices spiking where you're at.
Insane. And they're going to go up.
Yeah. They just keep, and diesel's hit an all-time high. I mean, I think that the diesel went up to, I can't remember, but I don't know how they measured exactly, but I know oil went up to like $119 a barrel yesterday.
Yep.
And they keep trying to manipulate it. And I just wonder when these people are going to smarten up and realize that's what they're getting. They're getting manipulated.
Right. Yep.
Yep. So anyway, there's no easy way out of this too. Either.
No, there is no easy way out of it. And so, let's see. Here, hold on one second. Okay. And this is Tulsi Gabbard. America's spies say Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon. Trump dismisses that assessment.
Yeah, it's not just from Tulsi Gabbard, though. It's from all the spies that we have in that area who are saying that.
Yep.
That they are not building. And all the intelligence agencies told him, all 18 said they're not trying to build a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
And they are enriching uranium, and we'll talk about this some more. But that's because Donald Trump pulled out of the JCPOA.
Yep. And see, this is the thing. Tulsi Gabbard testified before Congress about Iran's nuclear program earlier this year. The country was not building a nuclear weapon. The National Intelligence Director told lawmakers, and its supreme leader had not reauthorized the dormant program, even though it had enriched uranium to higher levels. But here's the thing. This is what Trump says. I don't care what she said, Trump told reporters. In his view, Iran was very close to having a nuclear bomb. Again,
he doesn't care what reality is.
They're thinking
about it. They've got it in their head.
Yep.
I mean,
and then this is what it goes on to say. I just want to read this real quick. Trump's statement aligned him with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who had described a nuclear-armed Iran as an imminent threat rather than with his own top intelligence advisor. Trump was expected to meet with national security officials in the Situation Room on Tuesday as he plans next steps.
He ended up talking to Bibi Netanyahu and said, let's go.
Yes.
Let's do this. Because Bibi Netanyahu finally found the president weak and stupid enough to go to war with Iran for him.
Yep.
So, and that's why he was so against it. As it's coming next with the JCPOA that Obama did.
That's right. That Obama had, and Donald Trump scrapped it in his first administration. It was
That's right.
an agreement with 7 countries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
we
5+1.
we
I
would have
think.
been way better off than we are right now. We wouldn't be doing this right now.
No, I mean it was working. It was successful. We had
Yes.
controlled their uranium enrichment to where they could only use it for like nuclear power and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he took, withdrew from that, they started enriching uranium again. Of course,
Yep.
it was working. This is we cannot bomb our way out of this, okay?
No.
There has to be a diplomatic solution. But Donald Trump is too lazy. He wants a quick and easy solution because that's the way he's lived his life.
Yep.
Because he's failed upward his whole fucking life. He's never
Every
had to
step
work
of the
for
way.
anything.
Yep.
So he doesn't know how to do this. His art of the deal guy, that's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yep. And
He's
you
the
know,
worst dealmaker ever.
And again, during Obama's term, when we had a nuclear deal with Iran, we had an Iranian nuclear deal.
Right.
Guess who was out there talking back then too?
That was Bibi Netanyahu. He came here.
He
and
sure
started
did.
trashing it and and the Republicans invited him. Okay,
Yes.
this is a slap in the face to the president of the United States. Can you imagine
Right.
if the Democrats had invited who would be a leader that they just despise, some socialist leader somewhere or something that we were about to go to war with? I don't know.
Yeah.
If they invited him,
it's hard to imagine because we wouldn't do it.
We wouldn't do it. It was just such a slap in the face. I remember Tom Cotton, the Republican from Arkansas, getting in touch,
penning a letter
to the Ayatollah, saying, "Don't do this," and all these Republicans signed on to it. There was a few that didn't, a couple that didn't, but most of them did. Yep. And even the New York Times, I think it was the New York Times, said called it treason.
Mm-hmm.
Going behind the president's back like that when he was working on this deal to ensure peace with Iran, so he didn't go to war with Iran.
Yep.
Stopping them from getting a nuclear weapon. And the Republicans were trying to sabotage it.
Yeah.
This is who they are.
Yes. It is. Always have been. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of this coverage. So this is from ABC 7 News WJLA.
Democrats tonight are blasting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech before a joint session of Congress. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi called the address on Iran's nuclear threat a condescending lecture. Brad Bell has more on the speech and reaction.
The Israeli Prime Minister's speech had all the trappings of a presidential State of the Union address. Netanyahu took time to stress the strength of U.S.-Israeli relations, but he used the vast majority of his time, as promised, to blast a proposed U.S. nuclear deal with Iran.
It doesn't block Iran's path to the bomb. It paves Iran's path to the bomb.
Liar.
So why would anyone make this deal?
That claim and the fact that the Prime Minister faces an election at home in 2 weeks are among the reasons President Obama blasted the congressional invitation for Netanyahu to speak to Congress. A number of Democrats promised a boycott, but the chamber was packed to standing room only, Netanyahu frequently pausing for applause.
Stop threatening to annihilate my country, Israel, the one and only Jewish state.
A University of Maryland study released today claims a majority of Americans side with President Obama on Netanyahu's speech, 51% saying a speech without diplomatic invite is inappropriate, and that 61% favor that nuclear deal with Iran. One place where there was no controversy over Netanyahu's speech here at the Hillel Center at the University of Maryland, where a group gathered and watched in silence.
We appreciate all that.
Sharon Strauss, visiting her daughter on campus, calls the speech historic.
I hope it's a moment when the country and the world really hears Netanyahu out and realizes who they're dealing with Iran.
According to the White House, President Obama was busy and did not watch the speech. In College Park, Brad Bell, ABC 7.
It's funny. It's interesting that the 61% of Americans supported the JCPOA, the nuclear deal Obama got, and 61% of Americans disapprove of the Iran war right now.
Yeah.
I find that interesting because we don't want a war.
We don't want a war.
Americans don't want a war, and especially
this is not the pressing issue
on whim. Yeah.
Right. Right.
We've got way bigger issues, and this is hurting us.
And yeah, absolutely. And especially when it was, we had a deal. And you know what would have made it so that the path to the bomb would have been lessened, Netanyahu, if the agreement had stayed intact and they had built on it.
He didn't want that
He didn't
because
want
he
that.
stays in power.
That's
with
right.
That
He's
threat.
a criminal. He's an indicted criminal.
And he uses Iran like Bush used Osama bin Laden. Remember how he would drag out tapes of Osama bin Laden before an election, or and try to scare people.
Right.
So that's the way Bibi Netanyahu uses the threat from Iran.
And the thing of it is that the American public is not buying it, and MAGA is not buying it.
No, Iran has never attacked Israel. First of all, Iran has never invaded anybody.
No,
Israel has attacked a lot of different countries. And Israel is, who's the biggest destabilizer? I looked this up. Who's destabilized the Middle East more than anybody in the past? No, the United States of America.
Oh, the United States of America. Well, yes.
The Iraq and Afghanistan war, especially, and then Bibi Netanyahu comes in close second.
Right. Yep.
Because Israel has nuclear weapons.
Yep. Yep. They sure do. So, well, Anita, we covered a lot of ground today.
No Lego video today, I guess.
We don't have. Well,
no, we don't. We could have picked one, but we didn't.
My producer, I think we're gonna.
I failed.
Yeah, my producer didn't give me a Lego video, but that's okay.
Karen can sing us off.
No, I cannot. I cannot.
Come on, sing. Imagine.
All we are saying. Okay. Well, anyway.
A chance.
Yeah, there's a long history, and it's important to talk about that history and connect the dots. And the common threads are the Republican Party.
That's right. Exactly. And you know what? I just want to say, okay, Obama had the JCPOA. We had Jimmy Carter had Camp David, and Bill Clinton had the Oslo Accords. Democrats try to strive for peace. They're not trying to get us into wars. Nope. Republicans are constantly getting us into wars because they don't know how to make these deals that we're talking. That they don't know how to do diplomacy, and they have horrible, like Paul. What's his name? Witkoff, that Witkoff guy, and Jared Kushner. Paul, that Witkoff, is his name Paul?
I don't know. Whatever. We know who you're talking about.
He's
not qualified. Bottom line,
he's not qualified. He's his real estate attorney. Okay,
right.
And Jared Kushner is on the payroll of Saudi Arabia. And by the way, while he's out there, he's trying to get investments for his Gaza Riviera.
Wait. Are you suggesting that the Trump children are setting themselves up to profit from all of this?
No, that couldn't be happening.
Is that something that we need to talk about tomorrow?
We definitely need to talk about that tomorrow, but that's going to take a lot.
That's going to be a lot.
We might have to talk about that for the next month.
Anyway, well, thanks everybody for joining us. We love you. Please like and subscribe. Go to our Patreon page. And subscribe at any level. It's free, or you can give us a little, something, but
give us all your money.
If you can. We know times are tough. If you can.
Times are tough, really.
Times are definitely tough. So we understand, and, but we just really would love to have your support and feedback. And please like and subscribe. And by the way, we are going to be recording this week. We may or may not have a guest. And then that podcast, it'll be on all of the different podcast platforms. That will drop on Monday.
Yeah.
So we love you guys.
Check it out.
Talk to ya. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.